Hi, I'm John Pallone, Mayor of Long Branch, and thank you for joining us for another City Spotlight. Today, we have two people with us. First is Councilman Bill Dangler, and Bill is also the president of the local chapter of the NAACP. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we also have Ms. Sylvia Jacobs, who's the head of diversity and inclusion at Monmouth Medical Center. Ms. Jacobs, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for having me. I appreciate it.
Ms. Jacobs, let me start with you. What are the concerns or what's the hesitation that people have about getting vaccinated?
Hesitation is a real problem in the minority communities, particularly because, the vaccination process resembles some of the, past issues with the medical field and African American and minority groups. That brings a lot of concern about treatment and trials and, the sense of really feeling like they are not being treated with dignity and respect. So we're really concerned about showing the efficacy of the vaccine and making sure people feel comfortable and included. There is equity in this vaccine, and there was a lot of testing that involved minority groups. So we want to ensure that people's concerns are being heard and that they have an opportunity to express their concerns and be listened to in the form of, just having any concerns addressed that, may still be trailing from those past historical events.
Councilman Dangler, anything that you want to add?
One of the things that the people that we hear, certainly in the minority community, are what are some of the side effects. And so for the most part, it's very, very mild, almost flu symptom-like, but there really is no bad side effects from the COVID vaccine. So that's what we're trying to get across to the people when we speak to them.
I'd like to ask Ms. Jacobs, is the vaccine safe?
Very important question when we talk about safety. When we're asking people to inject something into their body to accept and trust science and the medical profession, again, we want to convey that the vaccine is very safe. Over 40,000 people participated in the Pfizer vaccine trials and over 30,000 people in the Moderna. And I believe we're at somewhere around 10% of the people were African American who participated in the Moderna. And although it's lower than the 14% of African Americans that represent the country, the goal was still to increase the participation to send the message that it is safe and that there's not two vaccines, one for them and one for us, so to speak, and that people should not, the concerns are valid. But what was a turning point for me was learning that Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett participated in the development of the Moderna vaccine and that she is a scientist. She's 34 years old, well-trained, well-versed, and that having a person of color at the table in that lab participating in the development of such a, groundbreaking vaccine, I think, really kind of made me feel a little more comfortable. And so I love to at least share that tidbit with people, that there are people of diverse backgrounds who are participating in the trial and who also, took part in making it safe for all of us. So I'm hoping that this will be a turning point to increase the number of people of color and African American community members to really take seriously the need to get this vaccine because it is deemed to be safe and it's gone through all the phases necessary.
So, Councilman Dangler, why do you feel everyone should trust getting the vaccine?
The vaccine is safe. It is being monitored by the CDC. It is very, very intensely monitored. It has been, this is one of the vaccines, certainly in the history of the United States, of the way it's being monitored by the CDC, just to make sure that everyone is safe that is getting the vaccine. And the other reason, if we go back to the Tuskegee experiment, why people are a little nervous, there was no information about that, but that's a different situation. This is the most that the United States, that I remember, has been this open with the research and to the public. It's been accessible. It's not something that's in a bubble. So that's why I feel that it's very safe for everyone to get registered to get the vaccine.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Jacobs, we hear a lot about herd immunity. Why is it important that everybody in the community get vaccinated?
The goal is, 70%, in some instances I've heard up to 80%. We want that number of people to be vaccinated so that the mass majority of the people in our communities are protected. New variants of this virus are developing, and we've seen it with South Africa, we've seen it with the UK, and what we want to do is make sure our communities are protected and that people who might be susceptible to getting this disease and not being able to fight it off, it's unfortunately going to affect communities like ours, the African American and people of color, who have, those four top conditions and don't really fare so well when they're faced with this particular virus. So it's important that more people are vaccinated and that we are protected against the strains that we know of right now, and that we're able to, be prepared for if there's another round or if something else comes about. We just want to make sure we're prepared. But right now, the goal is to know what we have, what we're faced with, and protect, up to 75%, 80% of the people who are eligible for the vaccine to get it so that we're all protected.
Councilman Dangler, so what are the next steps? How can people get vaccinated here in Long Branch?
The city of Long Branch has several sites since the vaccine has been available. One of them is the Adam Bucky James Center, which is in our community. The other is the city has a COVID-19 call center. And Monmouth Medical, a couple of weeks ago, has opened up the door of partnership with some community organizations, such as the NAACP and a few churches that I do know of, where we are given a list of about 30 people per week. And we submit it to Monmouth Medical Center, and that just makes it even easier for the residents of Long Branch to get the COVID vaccine. And this way, everyone will maybe not be as frustrated, because it was when it first started, there was just one place or maybe two places throughout the county, but now we have several right here in Long Branch.
Any last, I really appreciate everyone being on the line today, Ms. Jacobs and Councilman Dangler. Any last thoughts or any last comments that you'd like to make? And by the way, Ms. Jacobs, thank you for all that you do in the community. Of course, thank you to the hospital. They're a great partner for all the residents of Long Branch as well as our neighboring communities.
If I can just reiterate, this COVID vaccine has impacted the African American communities and marginalized groups since it kind of hit us. And 3 times more likely African Americans are to get COVID, and 4 times more likely to be hospitalized, and then 3 times more likely to die. So with those odds going against us, we really want to reinforce with the African American communities and other minority groups the importance of really educating yourselves, getting information from your doctors, your providers, asking the right questions, filtering the information that you see on social media, and making a good, well-informed decision for yourself. Take advantage of the vaccine when it's right here available to you. You have a wonderful mayor and city council people who are here to make sure that it's available close to home. And we're just glad to be partners in care in our community of Long Branch. And thank you again for having me.
And also, Councilman Dangler, I wanted to thank you as well and the rest of council. This was there's a lot of discussion that went on in terms of how can we reach out to the minority community, seniors, those who are underserved, and just the community in general. And I know you were a big part of that. We started by reaching out to our seniors in the community, those who not out, as mentioned, don't have access to a computer. And actually, we're even now moving on to those who are disabled or homebound, and we are literally knocking on doors and going door to door and visiting people who wouldn't have access to the to get vaccinated in a public site.
We do have to do our part. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Kamika Corbett, the governor, the local mayors, certainly you, Mayor Pallone, the council, everyone has to do their part, and that is the only way that we are going to defeat COVID-19 and go back to some normal way of life that we are used to and haven't been a part of doing that for the past year. So if we do our part, the medical people have done theirs, and now it's time for the community to do their part. Thank you.
Thank you again, Councilman. And I'd like to thank everyone again for joining us today on City Spotlight. We'll continue to have these important discussions about subjects that affect all of us here in our community. Thank you.